Alrighty, well, I was just going to continue reassembling this, and then John had mentioned to me, he said, what if the Rec 6x6 I have uses the same axles? So I went, holy fuck, ingenious. So I went and checked, and sure enough, they're the right axle. So I was just going to toss them in here and then flip on the camera to show you reassembly, and I thought, well, it could be someone out there that, you know, needs to change your axle and they don't quite know how to go about doing it. So I've already got one in, and that's when I had the thought, so figured I'd flip this on and show you how to take them out and put new ones in. This one's already out, but basically you pull off this cap. First pull off tire, jack it up, pull off tire. Pull off this cap. It's got 3 Torx on it. They are T25. Pull off that cap and you'll find a cotter pin and a castle nut. The castle nut is 15/16. Okay, so you pull off castle nut. Now the axle should be free to move back and forth. Some guys like to pop off the lower ball joint. I don't like to jar on that joint as little as possible. So what I like to do is pop off the strut. It's pretty simple. I believe it is, or I know it is, 19 millimeter. There's probably something in SAE too, but yeah, 19 millimeter. Pop that off, and I'll show you from there. So let's get to it. Pop off that strut. Now you can lean this back like this. This is a good time to take some air. Blow all this shit out there. Okay, so now you're gonna have to disassemble your brake, which is it's got 1/2-inch bolts on the back. You're gonna have to undo those. To take off your brake caliper, so 2 bolts, brake caliper come off, clean it out of the way, pull off this assembly. Try not to get too much shit in there. We're gonna put a bunch of fresh grease in here. Now there's a bearing race on the back pointing backward right here. This is the good used axle I'm going to put in it. It's got a bearing on it and some fresh grease. So now pull this out of the way, put your stub end back up in this way. This guy down into the hole. Okay, now that back bearing is sitting in its race. Now's a good time. Right back in here, I'll show you. There's a hole on that U-joint, that knuckle. There's a hole on the shaft there. So you gotta line those up and then push the shaft on. Okay? So let's see if I can get you a shot of any kind. No, that's not good. Damn it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. So now that you've done that, you can take your strut. You gotta make sure down here everything's all lined up all nice. So get your back in here. Now there's a pin. And you gotta get that pin in that hole back there. So take your flashlight. Get that pin in there so that the inner part doesn't fall back off. Now you've got another bearing here. So what I like to do is there was already grease on the first bearing. So now I like to go around and even if you're not degreasing the bearing, go around, put a bunch of grease. Slide this new old bearing on there. Okay. There's this washer. It's got these 3 detents or bumps. Opposite of a detent, I guess. Then you have this one way. This is what gives you 4x4 or not 4x4. And you gotta line up those 3 bumps with the 3 notches. And there's another bearing. This one, same thing on the other side. It wanted to be, felt like it was almost too tight. Like it didn't want to go. So we can give it a couple little gentle tapas, get it on there. One final bearing. Oh, come on now. use the nut to pull it together a little bit. And put your good washer on. Nut back on. And use that to suck it all together. There, see it's tight. There you go. Now, gotta get some of this grease out of the way so we can find the fucking cotter pin holes. Right there. There you go. That's how you do a Stevie Axel job on one of these guys. So, I'm going to do a quick cleanup here. And then we'll go back to throwing the body and shit back on here. I've got way too many carburetor videos on my channel. So, you know, same. Blew everything out, got her nice and clean, threw her back together, so we'll drop that back in the machine. And so, like I said, I'm going to do a quick cleanup here, get my hands washed and shit, and I'll flip this back on and we'll continue. Okay, let's throw on the gas tank, carburetor, what it needs to run, and let's take it outside and give it a wash. We'll start with the carb. Okay, so what I was just doing there, I was buttoning up the clutch cover, okay, hooking up the fuel line. Now this, the fuel selector, on the other machine, the on position is busted off, and on this one the reserve position is busted off. So we have it set so that on turns the fuel on, but it's actually connected to the reserve pickup tube so that it can take fuel right down to the bottom level. So that way you get use of the whole tank. Now, one of these can be purchased and we can put it all back the way it's supposed to be, but for now, this will make it so that the customer can make full use of the fuel tank. So now we got carburetor in there, so we need to run the throttle cable to where it needs to go, and the choke is going to be not used at the moment, but there it is. So let's get this fuel line up to where it wants to be, or throttle cable, sorry. Well, with the carburetor cleaned, we shouldn't need any fucking special spray to open it or to fire it up. So let's try some full choke and see if she goes. Oh, we're gonna need to jump it because there's no fucking battery. Shit. Well, shit. I don't think it needs this, but oh, let's check it out. Alrighty, so she didn't want to start. The only way she'll start is with brake clean, or if you cover the intake tube, you mostly cover it. So I kind of thought it was a fuel pump, so I spent 30 seconds and I switched out the fuel pump for the 700 one, same issue. Start same way. So then I thought, well, maybe it's valves. So I pulled the valve cover, and we're gonna clearance them. Now they're close, but these valves, intake and exhaust, are supposed to be 0.006 inch, 6/1000ths, or 0.15 millimeter. Okay, now see, she don't want to go in there. She don't want to go in there. There's one intake valve right here that it fits in, but it's real snug, and the other one, not a snowball's chance in hell. So we're gonna set them. I don't know if they're far enough out to cause this issue, but we're gonna find out. So that looks like about probably 3/8 and a flathead screwdriver. Of course, 10 mil American bike. It says made in the USA all over it, and it's got fucking metric bolts and screws all over the fucking place. So how you do this, loosen, and it's always kind of a good idea to hold it in place so you got like a bit of a reference where it was before. Okay. So you got that loosened, back it off, and remember, top dead center, line up the hatch with the T on, look in the inspection hole, there's a little V, and on the flywheel there's a T. You line up the V with the T, and it's top dead center on compression stroke. So now you got that guy loose. What you're gonna want to do, back off your screws, put your feeler in there, and go back and forth and slowly ease into it. Yeah, a little snug. Make it just a little snugger than you want, because when you tighten down the lock nut, it's going to pull up on the stud a bit, right? There you go. That's what you want. There we go. So let's throw the cover back on, and we'll see if she roars to life. So we're gonna throw in the airbox, spark plug, gas tank, and we're gonna see if they'll fucking flash. A little bit of oil got on the exhaust, so she's a bit smoky, but still, it doesn't want to run unless you cover the hole. Weird.
Your boss just shoved a text up your phone. Greetings. Your boss is calling you. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to make the call, at which point vital information will be disseminated to you. The secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions. This call will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck.